So thanks for all for being here tonight. So I would like tonight to inspire you about sales with a certain topic, which is the sales culture, the sales drive, and sales empowerment in companies, right? Some of you probably are in startup or think about startups or working in large companies, and I hope by the end of this session that you will get empowered yourself. So, one first question: who is here a sales-related role in your company, directly or indirectly? Please raise your hands. Okay. Who is who is thinking about doing sales, and who is not doing sales? Okay, good. So, I hope this gives some more insight for sales by the end of this session. So I will just talk briefly about me. So my name is Philippe Sombat. I was born in a shop that my parents own, Rue Blaz, next to the flea market, if you know Brussels. And, well, I was not to be sold. Maybe I was in a sales internship when I was a kid. And maybe that inspired me, probably. Later on, I have a master degree in business and finance that I did in Haute École Francisco Ferrer. Nobody's perfect, I know. I should have done that at Solvay. Well, with Back to the Future, maybe I can change my past, who knows. Then I started as marketing coordinator at Exact Software, 1 year. And then my career crossed Xerox. And then I started at Xerox, and I started my sales career at Xerox. And it was really amazing. So, and I will talk about that later on, because that's where basically the sales culture I will talk about comes from. Sales drive as well. Then after 7 years at Xerox working as a key account manager, I worked 4 years as EMEA key account manager. So I had more international role, leading some sales in Europe. Then I decided to quit the corporate world and join a startup. So it was at that time a project. 4 people initiated the Tweetwork Pro experience. And when I met there, actually, during 1 year, they could not sell. Sell is a big challenge. And for them, it was a big challenge. So I joined them, shifted the marketing and sales strategy, and we got incredible success. So we got clients like The Voice of Belgium, Mobile World Congress, if you know. We got Bistone, who is the co-founder of Twitter in San Francisco in an event. We even had Obama. So after, for certain reasons, I decided to quit, and I joined Unisys, which is an American company, 140 years old, for those who doesn't know, and as sales executive and business developer, and in parallel, because I left the startup world in a certain way, but I still wanted to help those startups who like Tweetwork Pro, has good ideas, but they cannot sell. And so I'm giving sales training to help them to boost their sales and success, which so far is succeeding very well, and happily for those who follow my training. So far, just a small information, which doesn't mean it means a lot, doesn't mean a lot, but I signed so far for 30 million euros deal, or dollars, whatever, depends on the change, right? So tonight, I would like to cover, inspire you, as I said, on certain topics. And the topics I would like to help and give some insight are, the first of all, the sales culture. The second one is how you will improve your sales revenue. Then something also important is how to improve the sales margin, right? And how signing deals faster, which is very important. Time is money. And improving your cash in the company. So, first, the sales culture. When I talked to Soha, by the way, on the phone, I thought, well, I would like to reach a lot of people. And one thing that is really important in a company is the soul of your company. And if you can include the sales as the key topic in a company, it will be very exciting. And that's what I hope by the end of this session, you will feel that. So why first sales is so much important? So let me take two people who I train, by the way, who are in the startup mode, and what they say about sales.
One of the great weaknesses I think that we have in the startup ecosystem in Belgium is there's a lack of sales people and sales skills. So we need to do much more in sales. Having or not having sales in a startup is like life and death. If you have sales, you have a possibility to survive. If you don't have any sales, your startup is dead.
Sales is everything. Sales is the #1 activity your company should do. It will define everything. I mean, at the end of the day, it's about selling to a customer. That's it.
So I think these are startups. And sometimes, and I will talk about that later in this session, but big companies forget about sales. They don't know what is sales. But when you are in front of your clients as a startup, you feel it. So that's why sales is important. And sales is basically the water of your company. Never forget that. That's true. Nicolas Mees just mentioned that, yes, sales is really what you need for your company. You cannot live without that. If you don't have sales, you die. Or at least your company dies. And maybe as an effect, yeah. But let's not be too much pessimistic, right? But that can be true. So, when you work as a salesperson, you are in a team, right? And it's very important that you know that a salesperson cannot do much alone. You need a lot of people around you to make things happen. And of course, in the center, you have the sales hero. Who is a sales hero? Is someone who's, of course, the target is selling. And not only that, it's about having a mission and with responsibility. If you don't have sales, we just say that, the company cannot pay the bills. Cannot pay the salaries, right? So this can be very annoying. And if, as a salesperson, you realize that and you take this responsibility, you need to assume it. Yeah, I was sponsored by Samsung, and here is Lipton. So, when I was at Xerox, I could feel this mission. And believe me, a salesperson feels the stress. And if he doesn't feel the stress, he's not a salesperson. So, by the way, if I ask you, and I saw more than half of the people are related to sales, who has today a sales quota? I want to see 1 there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So I think it's half or maybe the third of the people who raised the hand. And I'm not astonished. The last 2 trainings I gave, I asked the same questions. And basically, I reached actually 90% of the people who could not say to me, I have a sales target. What is a quota? What is a target? That was the first question. I say, hey guys, you run a startup. You need to know how much you're responsible for, right? So I would suggest to the people who raised the hand in the beginning and did not raise now to think about it. If you're a salesperson, you need to know how much you need to make as a target. So, of course, yes, training is very important. And why I say that, and why I decided to give training, by the way, actually is because like Xerox, when I started, I was 6 weeks in a room, 6 weeks training. It was called New Intake Course, NIC. And you will never forget that, and I never forgot that. And that's what basically I would like to give in a short time to people. And why is training so much important? Because if you are sales, or you can be a developer, or a dentist, right? Someone is a dentist here. You can be a doctor. Would you give the responsibility or the mission to someone who did not follow a doctor training or a dentist training whatsoever? And sales is exactly the same. So I got a sales training about selling skills and about products. So those are very important. And when you get there, actually, and that was the key reason why I was successful during the whole 16 years. Thanks to that training, I was achieving my target and overachieving. Of course, sales needs support, right? As I say, you're not alone. You need some people cheering. You need people who are there to think about you, caring about you in all means, right? Your manager needs to be there supporting you, but also the company, because again, you cannot be successful alone. So great support is really valuable. Yeah. Remember the hero. You remember the face of the guy, you know, he was with the ball and he was in the stadium. He would enter the stadium. That's a hero. Of course, we remember all heroes successful, right? But not always. If you're not successful, then you can get a penalty. And for a salesperson, of course, you get commissions, right? You don't have a full salary. So you have a fixed and variable, logically. And first, you're not paid for all what you've done, right? So that's the first red card. The second one could be you lose incentive, right? You don't get reward. And in the end of the day, if you're really not successful at all, you're fired, right? So that's really like the responsibility, the mission. And it's normal in the end somehow, right? Because you need to help your colleagues. You have to give the money, right, to the company who can pay your colleagues. That's also a mission. And of course, we all hope to get rewards. I got a lot of rewards. I wrote a blog on my site. You will see everything I've got. But just to mention some of them. So I got some trips. So I've been to Costa Rica, Argentina, Tunisia, India. I've been to Vietnam, and I always forget one or the other. I got 20 times to star Michelin restaurants. I get very good commissions, right? We talked about that too. So I think that's really great. And that's about also the sales culture, right? So it's great to have that feeling that you belong to this system that is rewarding the salesperson. And honestly, I've been running as a co-CEO at Tweetwork Pro, and as a co-CEO and sales director, and of course, I decided not to take some money for me because I invested, reinvested, and I wished, and I did everything for my salespeople. I managed like 6 people worldwide, including the US, UK, Turkey, Australia, etc. That those people really earn a lot of money. I was happy if they earn a lot of money. And that's great. And it's true that here in Europe sometimes we don't have that culture. But please, if someday you run a company or you are a manager whatsoever, please put sales as a hero. And he will give you back 100 times. You have today two kinds of organizations. The first one is a sales-centric organization. And what is a sales-centric organization? It's very simple. It's an organization, a company, which is focused to the clients, right? So you do everything for your clients. And that's great. Nowadays, what we see sometimes, and it happens when the company is growing and growing and growing, becoming big, right? That you lose that focus. And your focus shifts basically to the departments, the managers, the directors. So it's becoming very political, right? And unfortunately, at the same time, the clients really, the target and the focus to the clients really decrease. So we've seen a lot of big companies like decreasing in terms of revenue, in terms of margins, in terms of cash, and getting into trouble. And that's one of the reasons. So what I think it's a dream situation, which is difficult to keep, is having from the general manager up to the R&D, including the accountants, the project managers, and everyone, supporting the sales organization, which is still focusing to the clients. And in the end of the day, everybody is focusing to the clients. That's really the ideal world, right? So don't ever forget, when you grow, that's what you want to reach, that everybody thinking sales, everybody thinking client, the project manager, the R&D, the marketing, the finance. If we can help the client, let's do it. Of course, for a win-win situation. So that's my first part. I forgot to tell you, but I'm sure some of your lips are hot, so I will answer two hot questions per session. Well, to the chapters, I have 5. So if you have a question right now, feel free to shout. Wow, I have the 2 questions there. So first row, yes?
Hi.
Hello.
Behavioral economics suggests that if then reward systems are counterproductive to longer-term organizational goals, so I'm talking about research by Dan Ayerle, Dan Pink, and arguably one of the interesting kind of your difference here between a sales-focused organization and sort of an organization
yes.
which is focused in and of itself is that lack of long-term focus. So my question is, sort of, you put up reward systems as a good idea for creating better sales, but does that not lead to short-termism? And
no.
Does that not actually go against the longer term?
Yeah, it's a good question. Try it, you will see. What I can tell you is during 7 years at Xerox, as long as there was incentives, got good commissions, I stayed. You know, why to leave? And I stayed 7 years. It depends. Is that short term for you or long term? So if it's long term, then you have your answer. As long as you keep your sales excited by what they do and you reward them for what they make for you, you know, it's given. You are kind with me, I will be kind with you, right? As long as you keep this, it's fine. I don't expect it higher and higher and higher and higher. No. But rewards, and can be all kinds. You know, some people, a reward is just a thank you. You know how many times I hear some people saying, oh, you know, he even didn't tell me thank you, right? That's a reward. You know, a certificate is a reward, you know? So just check my blog, you will see. You have easy ways to keep sales up and running and happy. The second question.
Sure. You talk about rewards for the salespeople, but do you have any advice, experience on incentivizing other departments so that it's aligned?
Okay, yeah, it's a good point. So what I've seen is that, for example, you have solution architects or people working together with sales, right? They go on the field and yes, so you can definitely reward them. So you have two ways, whether it's specific to still client-facing, who are not sales, then you can say, okay, if you we win this or that project, then we'll give you a bonus. Okay, that's one way. You can also imagine that, okay, if you have a team of project managers or a project team working on a deal, and you say, okay, if we win the deal, okay, we have a conference in Barcelona, right? Why not? So that could be absolutely a good incentive, right? So you can definitely leverage to that. But today, really, the first thing, if you already have that message, is sales is essential. Then after, you can add up whoever, you know. We could have, like, in the end of the year, if we reach our annual target for the company, okay, I incentivize the whole company, whatever, right? And we've seen recently for big, large companies, if the revenue, the annual revenue is decreasing year after year, what we see, there is no more end of year dinner, there is no more this, there is no more that. So these are also incentives and rewards. I hope this answers your question. Thank you. So the second part is about sales revenue. We all know that's really key for every companies having the highest revenue as possible, right? And we need to boost sales. So how can we boost the sales? So this slide and this concept I created for this occasion. Yeah, that's part of my creativity. A good salesperson is creative, by the way. So it's the ingredients to boost your sales revenue is including is in the art or the dart, as you wish. So I did not have thought about how to pronounce, but I like the art. So what is the art? Basically, the first ingredient you need for sales is a drive and motivation. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
So every day, every morning, when you wake up, you want to have that motivation to make your work working well. And whatever, it's true for sales, but also for other things, other functions. But for sales, it's definitely very important. Then the activity. Activity is so much important. It's not like, okay, I wake up and I will see what I will do in my day. No. I will tell you later what is a sales activity. And then, of course, we need results. A sales, as a mission, has to provide results. And, of course, you need to be trained in the beginning, but also all the time. The training is not only sales training, it's also about being informed, watching the news, knowing the companies we are working with or we are selling to. So it's all the time. You need to work on data, information, your products, eventually the competition. And, of course, and by the way, I still say thank you to Mardi.be, with Martin, who is here, and also I cannot resist, I have to say, and Sylvie, because they made the slides, and I like this slide quite a lot, to be honest. I dreamt about it, and they made it. So it's basically your drive has to be 120%, right? So you have to really have really good drive. That's really the basic. And then you have to be trained, as I say, about sales techniques, products, and also the competition eventually, right? Where you can design your own cockpit of the art as you wish. Okay, I just give you a takeaway, and then you can adjust. Then, the second point is the activity. So I would like you to think about that. How many calls did you make today? Yeah. Yeah. How many calls did you make today? 5 or 6. Not bad. But it's not enough. But it's not enough. If you tell me you made 6 visits per day, yeah, that's quite good. No, honestly, but it's very important. So the number of visits you did per day, per week, etc. And the number of proposals sent. If you didn't send out proposals, how can you get deals signed, right? So it's about activity. The results come from an activity, of course. It's about revenue. It's about the margins eventually, right? Especially for startups. And the cash you got. So as a manager, you want, as a CEO, you want the cash to be on your account, to be able to reinvest and grow. So, do you like this slide, by the way? Okay. I love it. So, so as I said, now that, of course, you have a good activity, you need to put that into a CRM. And the CRM is extremely important. And there's one specialist in this room about CRM. And I always thought it's very boring, actually. To be very honest, now I'm very frank with you. At Xerox, you know, okay, all the calls, you know, blah, 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 all the travel time, all the visits, etc. But, you know, when I worked, I did it, and I understood really why it's so much important. Because if you know where you stand, of course, it's some admin work, but fine, okay. But if you don't do that, you cannot measure, you cannot control. And yes, the number of visits, the number of calls, the number of proposals sent is very important. You need to know that how many you did per year, but especially when